This is the PR crisis management for the NFL and Buffalo Bills. It started on social media. Well, we have been made aware of an incident at the Buffalo Bills Stadium or New Era Stadium or Highmark Stadium. It's got several different names. There was a large group of people taking a tour around the stadium. We do these usually between July and September during the summer, just before the season starts. And we usually have one about once every hour, hour and a half or so. This particular group touring the stadium was near the road team locker room. And while they were there, being explained to how the locker rooms work for the road team and the home team, a wall came crashing down. The locker stayed up, but the walls right behind them came down. There were several people leaning up against the walls that got hurt a little bit. And then we found out about this on social media because one of the people in the group who has a big following online uh, posted it on there. And then it got retweeted or reposted, and someone else on there found a report stating that NFL stadium, in particular for the Buffalo Bills, will not last much longer in its current condition. Some of the spokesperson that could be talking about this would be the owners of the Buffalo Bills. They are Kim and Terry Pagula. They are part of Pagula Sports and Entertainment. And what they would talk about was how they've been looking at stadium options because they known about the problems of the stadium at least for the last 2 to 3 years, if not longer. And when they get out this message, the main people who would want to know this information would be the Buffalo Bills fans, obviously, because they're the ones that would be inside the stadium on game day, or fans who come and get a tour, like the ones that were getting a tour when they got hurt. They would also be some of the players, because this was done in the locker rooms. Imagine if instead of coming on the outside, the wall went inside when there were players in there in the locker room for the away team. And also the media personnel, because they're the ones that are also inside the stadiums getting coverage and figuring out things that happened with the players and fans, trying to see what was going on. How would we respond to all this? Our social media response would be, as soon as we were made aware of this, we would immediately put a response out saying we were fully aware of what happened with the fall of the wall in the tour group and tell them our timeline of getting the repairs to that wall as soon as we can before the season begins, since it's not far around the corner. And also tell them that we are looking at options for the stadium in the future, but not give them any specifics here. We'll do that later. We'll do that with this press conference. We'll start off with telling how the injuries of the group are. They're not much, just mostly a lot of dings and bruises on them. And the reasoning for the wall is the stadium's been there since 1973 and somewhat falling apart. This just happens to be the latest of them all. And like I said, we know about all the problems with the stadium. That's why we're currently trying to keep it repaired as long as we can until we can find an option for a new stadium in the future. And it won't be easy. Yeah, some of the tools for social media. We'll use this on the Facebook and Twitter. And the accounts that will be posting a lot of this information would be the Buffalo Bills, obviously, because that's where the stadium is. And also the NFL, because that's the professional sport that the Buffalo Bills are in. and with the internal communications, we'll send out a memo with more details on the timeline of the repair. And also, we'll let them know that we're struggling with getting a new stadium. We got to try to get funding and people invest and all that. And it's not been going well because we've been looking at this last 2 or 3 years, seeing what we can do. So hopefully we can get what we need to be able to get a new stadium sometime in the near future. And also find out where the best place to put a new stadium would be. And then also, and to conclude, we will keep working on getting repairs done, looking on all, as we're looking for new stadiums since the season's now around the corner soon. We don't want to be unsafe for the players. Those are our most important priority. So without players, we won't have fans. And without fans, we won't have a stadium. Although we may not have a stadium much longer. And telling them how long it'll take to put things together. No need to panic with stadiums around the league because most stadiums have been renovated in 2003 or later. Some as late as a few years ago. The most stadiums are good to go, especially the stadium in New Orleans with the Caesars Superdome. Now that it's got a new name, new owners and stuff, it's easier to want to get things done to get up the reputations. And this is all the references, especially for all the pictures that I've put on here.